It was really, really hard. I had to say goodbye to my kids I was getting a little bit of anxiety being like, is it homeschooling that's doing this? She told me, whatever school this boy's in, keep him there. I think that was a huge homeschool mom fail for me. That was kind of it's hard to show up for the kids as well when you're in that pain. Today specifically, we're talking about science, history, electives, extracurricular activities, some hits, some misses, and just all those things. And I'm gonna have a life update on what's been going on in our home, our homeschool, our RV homeschool life, because if you didn't know, we are currently in our RV right now. So I'm gonna give you a bit of an update on what is going on. Yeah, we sold our home recently, so it's just been so crazy lately, but I wanna start from the beginning and catch you up on what has been going on right now. In a future video, I am going to share with you guys my core curriculum when it comes to my third grader and my kindergartner. So let's get into the video. Okay, let's start from the beginning. We're gonna start with science history because I have a lot to say about that. In the beginning of the year, our goal was to do the meteorology unit from Campfire curriculum, Storm Chasers, and I've done Campfire curriculums before. I love Campfire curriculums. I love their curriculum and how they are family style, that they don't require worksheets, lots of hands-on activities, so on and so forth. I have a lot of videos on Campfire curriculums on my channel. Now, we started this in September. This is a topic that my kids love. Weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, thunderstorms, all that kind of stuff. And I have to admit that it wasn't my favorite topic, just me personally. It had nothing to do with Campfire curriculums itself, but it also had to do with the season of life that we were in. A lot of things were going on in September. One of them is we were thinking of putting our house on the market, and there was a lot of us getting ready to do that because that's a whole process. In the meantime, we are doing this curriculum, and it was a lot because I wanted to do all the activities, and I felt like in the beginning we did, and then towards the end we did not. And that had nothing to do with the curriculum itself, but it had to do with the season of life that we were in. But my kids had a lot of fun. But I wish that I did do more of the activities, like I said, and I like that Campfire curriculums, they incorporate not only like it's a science unit, but they incorporate their core connections, which you can add language arts, can add history, and we definitely took advantage of that history portion. So for history, we learned all about the history of weather. That's where we pulled our history from for the September, October months. So I didn't need a formal history curriculum just because we were getting it from Campfire curriculums, and it was all in one, and it was wonderful. It was so much fun to connect the two, so I really like that. Another thing that we did in October was our Thanksgiving unit from Campfire curriculums, which was a lot of fun. I have a video on my channel already showing you how we do a lesson. So if you want to check that out, just if you're curious, definitely take a look at that. I did the mini unit of their Thanksgiving unit. It was a lot of fun. I really like that they incorporated the American history side of Thanksgiving, but also the Canadian history of things as well. So I really could appreciate that. So definitely Campfire curriculums is a curriculum company that I love, and they have so many different units out, so I definitely recommend that you check them out. And then after the Thanksgiving unit, I took advantage a lot of my mega bundles that I've purchased in the past, just picking from there and just going based on like child-led interest. My kids are so young still, so I do like taking advantage of bundles that I've purchased in the past. I don't talk about them a lot once I purchase them, because once I purchase them, you can't purchase the bundle itself again because they go on sale like 1 or 2 weeks. And then that's the only time you can get them. You can purchase the individual items, but the bundle itself, which comes with hundreds of resources, you cannot grab it anymore. So we take advantage of that. I take advantage of my Creative Fabrica Teachers Club card where I pick and choose things from there as well. And we just kind of did that for any type of science or extras in our home. So I really like that. And then in December, we were actually supposed to do our Christmas unit, which I was super excited to choose between the Campfire Curriculum's Christmas unit and the Gather Round All Around the World Christmas unit. Unfortunately, sickness hit us hard in our homeschool, and the month of December was a month of sickness for us. My house was a mess, and I felt like I was getting on top of my house and everything going on, and no, it was just a terrible mess. And we ended up just taking basically the month of December off. We did little things here and there, but we didn't really do anything when it came to like curriculum. We were really sick. Towards the end of December, we started feeling better, so we took advantage with our family. I went into the city, had a little bit of Christmas fun with going to different markets and light shows, so that was a lot of fun. But we didn't really do curriculum focused stuff just because it was a season of a lot of sickness and we were just trying to get over it. In January, my goal was to start Story of the World. I was so excited about it. I had all these plans in my head, but I also decided to enroll the kids in extracurricular activities, and I was having a hard time fitting in more. When it came to history, it kind of got left behind. My goal was to maybe during our extracurricular activities on the way there, we would listen to Story of the World in the car, and then on our way back, we would listen some more, or vice versa. Just take advantage of that car ride. Guys, we were so tired by the end of the day, and it wasn't there. Like our brain was fried by the end. My brain was fried. Like the kids' brains were fried. Like we were just not in there to do this. Like, I was like thinking, oh, car schooling, it's gonna be so much fun. No, like it was not fun. It just felt like very tiring. So we gave it a shot. I don't think it has to do anything with the curriculum. It's about seasons of life. I think seasons of life make it easier to do certain things and harder to do certain things. So definitely made it hard to add in history just because I live in the country. We were doing extracurriculars 2 times a week. We did swimming, we did gymnastics, and then Nicholas did a board games kind of night, and also like a nutrition class. So there was a lot going on, and this was 2 times a week. It took an hour to go, an hour to come back. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna make this sacrifice for my kids so they can, you know, do some extracurricular activities because I know they love it. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna do the sacrifice. And I don't care if it's winter. I am Canadian. Nothing is going to get through me right now because I can weather any snowstorm. I'm Canadian. These snowstorms were terrible. We have a huge truck, 4x4, like winter tires, and there was a point where I was like telling my husband, we have to go, it doesn't matter, we'll go. And guess what? That snowstorm was so huge that we could not make it, and it just got dangerous. Like we were 20 minutes in that we decided, like, you know, it's not worth us getting in an accident because of this. So unfortunately we missed some lessons. I think we missed like 3 or 4 lessons, which sucks because we are paying for this, right? And the kids, obviously they want to go to their lessons. So that was kind of a, you know, it was the downside of, you know, doing things in the winter. I think that was a huge homeschool mom fail for me, is thinking that I could do stuff in the winter, especially days are shorter. By 4:30 p.m. sometimes it was already like dark outside and it was cold. We were doing swimming lessons, and it's just like getting out in the cold after going in the water is just not fun. So I definitely will not be doing extracurricular activities in the winter anymore. I will only do it in the spring, summer, or fall. So I think that was like lesson learned. You don't do stuff in the winter, regardless if you're Canadian or not. But it's okay, you live and you learn. And having said all that, I felt a little bit worried about my son, Michael. He is 4 years old right now. And I felt like he's very attached to his brother. And everything that his brother does or wants to do, he wants to do. And whenever we go to church and they have their separate classrooms, he wanted to be with his brother. He said that his younger classroom was boring and it wasn't for his age, and that he understood more when he was at his brother's classroom. My church doesn't care. They're like, okay, you could do that. But it was worrying me because everything that Nicholas was doing, Michael wanted to do. And I was getting a little bit of anxiety being like, is it homeschooling that's doing this? Is this because of homeschooling that he feels like he needs to do everything his brother does? Like there's a pretty good age gap between my oldest and my youngest. And it got me a little bit worried because you start thinking like, is it because we homeschool that he is so attached to his brother, not forming his own identity, or, you know, you start thinking a bunch of stuff. So I had a talk with Michael because obviously he's not in the same level when it came to swimming or gymnastics or any other things that Nicholas was going to do. There's going to be a time where you can't do everything that your brother does. It's cute, it's nice. Like I whenever you can, but you're not in the swimming level that your brother is in. So I had a talk with him before I put them in swimming lessons, and I said, look, hey, honey, like you're gonna have to go in your own swimming class. Like, are you okay with that? I was worried of him not being able to, I don't know why, but in my head I'm like, is he gonna be able to follow rules like the other kids? Because he's not used to being in a classroom. He's never been to preschool, he's never been to kindergarten. Like, is he gonna be able to follow rules? You start getting in your head, right? Because he's never done that. So I'm so proud of him. He did so well. And even the teacher said, she told me, whatever school this boy's in, keep him there. She said that because he follows rules so well. He's the most behaved one in his class. He didn't put a fit up when he had to, go to his class, because I had the talk with him and said, it's okay. You're going to see your brother. You'll see him. He did so well in following instructions. He's the type of boy that was kind of like, let the other kids play with the stuff first. He was just so kind. And that really opened up my eyes to see that stigma that, oh, your kid's not going to be able to follow directions if they're not in, formal school. And I don't believe that. But the thing is that sometimes you get in your head and you start thinking those things. And when the teacher told me, he's such a great boy, like he's doing so well, he follows instructions so well, he listens to the other kids, he's polite, that just showed me, it just kind of gives you that reassurance that, you know what, don't get in your head, you're doing this right, and the fruits will show, so I was really happy about that, because I was a little bit worried that he wouldn't be able to do things on his own because he's so used to his brother. He's never been in that formal setting, so that was really reassuring to me. So I was really happy about that. Gymnastics they loved. Story of the world, let's go back to story of the world. So we could not do story of the world, the history, because it just was not working out. So we decided to, put that away. We'll get to it in a later date where I'm feeling a little bit more inspired to use that curriculum, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't feeling inspired either. Nothing to do with the curriculum, just seasons of life. And we'll get back to that in the future sometime. The curriculum's not going to run away. And then we decided to get puppies. We decided that we weren't going to get one puppy, we're going to get two puppies. And that really changed up our schedule, our routine quite a bit. We got Alaskan Malamute / Siberian Huskies, two brothers, Maximus and Blue. And guys, they're the sweetest things ever, but they are work. Yeah. It was a lot of work between potty training, homeschooling, our home is in the market. But I think we actually sold our house once we got the puppies. We wanted to make sure that they were old enough once we moved. So that's why that was the idea behind getting the dogs before, the puppies before they became like larger. We wanted large dogs. We've always loved large dogs. I grew up with a German Shepherd, and I feel like it's so great for responsibilities, for the kids to play with, for them to get outside a little bit more when you have the dogs, and even for protection and living in the country. It's nice because we have a lot of different wildlife here. So when wildlife like bears smell dogs, they kind of stay away usually. Not always, but that's what they say usually. So we decided to get a couple of dogs because we've always wanted that. Like when we moved into the country, that was one of our, desires. I was just waiting for my kids to get a little bit older. Now that everyone was sleeping at nights, we added the dogs, and then we stopped sleeping because the dogs were waking up so early, but they're already they're grown up quite a bit. They're 7 months old right now, and they sleep through the whole night. They're fully potty trained. They're like really good puppies, but they don't look like puppies. They're huge. But they've been a blessing in our life, and definitely a game changer in our home and our whole dynamic, because it's two more living things to take care of. And it gave Nicholas a sense of responsibility, because he's the one who picks up the poop, does the walking with the dogs, like he does it all. He's 9 years old, but he knew that was part of one of his responsibilities for him to take care of the dogs. So he does that, and he's been so awesome at doing it. In the beginning, obviously there was some complaints saying like, oh, poop is so disgusting, poop is this, and I'm like, yeah, poop is disgusting, but that's part of your responsibility, so you're gonna have to do it. And he does it, I wouldn't say with a smile on his face, but he does do it, and it's actually become normal for him just to get the baggies, pick up the poop and, you know, move on. That's part of your responsibilities. And he actually wakes up early. First thing that he does when he wakes up is that he goes for a walk with both of the dogs. He goes one at a time because they're Alaskan Malamutes. They can pull really, they're really strong dogs. So he has to go one at a time with them, and just so the dogs, they can focus on, you know, their business. Anyways, he does that first thing in the morning. That takes about like 30 to 45 minutes of his time. So it's really nice for him just to get out and get his responsibilities done. And I'm pretty proud of him for taking that on. I don't even have to tell him. He just gets up and he knows that he has to walk the dogs. We are also finishing up the Good and the Beautiful space unit. We've been loving it. A lot of fun. Love how the new units are laid out. It's been a hit in our homeschool. We've still towards the end of it, and we're going to finish it off. But I wanted to mention it here because it has been amazing. Amazing unit. And probably our favorite unit of this year was the space unit, along with Science for Little Hearts and Hands. The Fields and Flowers unit, that one by far was amazing. That's geared more for the younger ages, but I make it work with the older ages too. If you watch my videos, I have 2 of them on my channel with this unit study. So if you want to take a look at that, you definitely can. But a hit in our homeschool. And now they're coming out with a new one, which is Wind and Waves. And we've already started it. We got an early access. The Good and the Beautiful sent it to us for us to try it out. And we love it. We've been using it as well. It's been so much fun. It's been definitely a favorite here as well. So science units from the Good and the Beautiful, big thumbs up. Another thing that we really loved was our little passport subscription boxes. We do that like as a family style unit. So that definitely took part of our science and history, anything that we learned there. We kind of put it into like hands-on experience, but we also added books, videos and that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And they even have like a space kind of box that we've been taking advantage of with our space unit. So that's been a lot of fun as well. So little passports was definitely a big win in our homeschool. During our morning time, we do Bible devotional, scripture. We are memorizing the books of the Bible right now. That's going great. So we do that during the morning time, and during our morning time too is when we rotate science and history. That's all located in our homeschool cart. I have a video up on my channel showing you what is in our homeschool cart, so you could definitely check that out. But it's been amazing. We do calendar time. We use our calendar from Zulily to do calendar time, and I love that. So that's always a hit. We do our Portuguese lessons in a way. I try to speak Portuguese throughout the day, but during our morning time, I make more of an effort to start conversational stuff. And my kids, because of the season of life that we were in, my kids are speaking Portuguese so much better. They're understanding. Nicholas always understands and he spoke it much better, but Michael and Lily, they're understanding it much better. And there is a reason why they're speaking Portuguese a bit better. During this whole season of life of moving, getting the house ready, we sold our home. I thought I could do it all. I thought I could pack, homeschool, stay with the kids. I don't know in what reality I was living in, but in my head I had a plan. It did not work out. I needed much more help. So I had to say goodbye to my kids for 3 weeks. And it was really, really hard. But also so helpful that my mom was there and my sister, they were helping me out with staying with the kids. And it was truly a blessing. And my mom only speaks Portuguese with the kids. In those 3 weeks of being with grandma, with Vava, they were understanding, speaking Portuguese so well, and we've continued on with it. The benefits of just like talking in Portuguese day to day is so important. It is hard for me because it's not my first language, but I can speak it fluently. It's my husband's first language, but we've always spoken in English together. But it's more like this year was kind of hard to talk Portuguese more, but I've started again. And I have in my homeschool cart, I have like Portuguese books, like conversational starters that I have over here. I have that, and we've been doing that every morning, and it's been so much fun. We do nursery rhymes in the morning, we sing songs, we pray. The devotional that we were doing, I just want to add that as well, was I Am 100 Devotions About the Names of God. Awesome. And then right now we are doing, I just want to get the name of the book, the devotional. It's Our Daily Bread for Kids. That's the one we're doing right now, a devotional. And then I'm going to start a new one in the new year or whenever. I feel like we need to transition to a new one. So when it came to morning time, it's one of my favorite things to incorporate into our homeschool. And we also incorporated like a history, social studies history book that I mentioned in one of my videos. That was a hit. It's continues to be a hit. In my homeschool cart, I sometimes add like printouts from Creative Fabrica. They have a lot of different resources there. For $2.99 a year, you get all these resources. So I've been incorporating a lot of that. I feel like due to the season of life that I'm in right now, I want to slow down more. I want to live life more. And I'm not saying that I wasn't before, but I feel like I want to change things up a bit to see how it would work out if we were to be year-round homeschoolers. Now, I didn't say that I wasn't before because we used to do a lot of review over the summer. But when I say that, I mean like for language arts, math, drag it out a little bit more for it to be like a full year. So our days are not so long, so I can do other things, such as in the springtime, we do a garden, right? So we can do math or language arts and then go do the garden, or, you know, do the garden and just do one subject, because it's going to be, I would want it to be spread out more. I feel like that would be beneficial for us for a couple of reasons. We're going to move right now. We're in the middle of the move. I'm in our RV right now. We feel like we're on vacation, but we're kind of not. There's still a lot of responsibilities that, you know, we have going on. We're still doing our homeschool. We are still in the process of moving to where we're supposed to be, which I'm going to share more about. But a couple of months ago, during the winter time, we traveled to a far, far away land. I'll share more of where it's like, you know, where we're going, but we're joking around that it's the middle of nowhere. And we bought 40 acres of land. And we're pretty excited about this because we are starting our homesteading journey completely off-grid. We're going to do the whole thing. This has always been a dream of ours, and it's becoming a reality. I think in my head, I've always thought of this as, you know, when we bought our country home, it was going to be more of a way for us to invest, and that's what it always was. My husband works in construction. He's a contractor. He does it all. So we bought 40 acres of land, found a property, and we are going to be building our home there, our homestead, hopefully a 4 seasons greenhouse. So these are the things that I really want to focus on with the kids, you know, doing our greenhouse and still homeschooling, but making it, the days are a little bit shorter when it comes to book work, so we can focus on these things, if that makes sense. Not that my vision was always, okay, take the summers off. It's so hot here sometimes that it's really hard to enjoy your summers, and most of the people that I hang out with anyways are homeschoolers. So if we need a day off because we want to hang out with some friends, or a week off, we can do that. We could just schedule our weeks or our days off according to our life. I have big plans for when it comes even to like RV homeschooling and traveling. We're living more of a simpler life so we can spend more time with our kids, and that's always been the dream. I've been struggling a little bit with some things when it comes to me in the sense of like my health. It's been really hard because of that. Like sometimes I feel like I'm letting my kids down because I feel so sick. So it's hard sometimes because I get these pains. It's like chronic pain that doesn't go away. And what I have is adhesions because I had my C-section multiple times. The way it healed, there are like these white fibers that attach to different parts of your organ, and it's so painful. And yes, I could do surgery to remove them, but they would just grow and multiply even more. And it's just been so hard. This has been years that this has been happening, but it has gotten worse ever since I had my daughter. And it's just so hard. Like sometimes I'm just like homeschooling. It's hard to show up for the kids as well when you're in that pain. So I'm just trying to deal with all that of like the pain management when it comes to that. If you are like a natural kind of like homeschool mom and like natural remedies, let me know. I've talked to different doctors and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, take morphine or do this, but it's not like, I don't want to take those heavy drugs because it's something that it's just the pain, it'll go away in 2 to 3 days. But those 2 to 3 days are like, guys, it's so bad. And it's just sad because sometimes I want to go out with my kids, like, or we have like an outing, and I have to cancel that whole outing because of how I'm feeling. Or I have a friend over and they come over and the stabbing pains begin and I have to leave them, and it's kind of like rude. And how do you explain to them that, you know, that you're not feeling well? And sometimes people just don't understand. there's nothing that I believe that can be done. It's more like pain management at this point, maybe some like natural things. I've spoken to a friend of mine that does like natural remedies and stuff like that, and she says that maybe she could help. So I'm definitely going to talk to her. But if you have gone through that, if you're going through that, let me know. I feel like depressed because of it too. So, you know, dealing with illness while you homeschool, it's so hard when you're going through that. And I'm just trying to stay positive and just pray a lot for God to, like, you know, really help me when it comes to here, to keeping it sane as well, because there's so much on my plate sometimes that I feel really bad when I get these pains, not only because I feel physically bad, but because I can't show up the way I want to show up. So I think that year-round homeschooling will help with that as well, just with mentally here, that I don't have like a time to finish, but more as like, let's just keep on going, you know, let's keep on going. And I just got to give myself a lot of grace when it comes to that, because the enemy does try to put that in my head that, you know what, you're worthless because of how you feel, or you're worthless because you weren't able to do this or that. And seasons of life determine what you can do. Even when it comes to like social outings, I think we did do a good amount of social outings. Could we have done more? Maybe. But sometimes you get in your head and you think like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that differently. But you're in the middle of a move, maybe like me, or you have little ones, or you've decided to get two big dogs and your routine is all messed up all of a sudden. But I feel like I could be my hardest critic. I'm my hardest critic. I'm really hard on myself. And I know that's something that I always tell myself, like, you know what? You're very hard on yourself. You're doing the best. Your kids are learning, they're growing, you're doing the best for them. Don't let the enemy get in your head, because maybe you're in the stage where you have a new baby. That's really hard. I've always homeschooled with a baby, a toddler. I've never had in my homeschool, I've never had a period where I didn't have little ones. And little ones are very hard. They disrupt. You need a lot of breaks. It's really, really hard. It's a hard season. So don't feel like you are a failure because your routine or the season of life that you're in may be affecting your homeschool plans. You're going to be able to do a lot of different things depending on the season of life that you're in, or depending if you are homeschooling with an illness or something like that. That's something huge. But can you do it? Yes, it's going to look a little bit different. But I wanted to bring that encouragement because I know I don't talk about it on my channel. I don't want to be here and cry and, you know, say, oh, poor me. It's not about that. It's more of an encouragement that, you know, you can do this, but you need a lot of strength. That strength is not going to come from you. It's going to come from God. And I talk about God here, guys. I'm a Christian. I know some people have messaged me or commented wishing that I wasn't a Christian, but guys, it's who I am. And my channel will always talk about God here. We will always talk about God. I have so much stuff to share with you guys, but for today, that is science, history, electives, extracurricular, social, life updates, like all the things when it came to our homeschool, when it came to that. Core curriculum is coming. I'll have a video on that. I have a lot to share as well, but I wanted to kind of put it into different categories just so we can talk and we can chat. And I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you so much for sticking around. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss a video. Hit that notification bell so you are advised when I do upload a video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, bye.